The sun is out, the skies are blue, the books are here, and now, so are you. Welcome! We're talking about spring books today. My phone, I have to hold it upright because something monstrous and horrible is happening with my microphone, but we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to spend too much time because the sun is out and we have spring things to go over. Unfortunately, in the wintertime, I didn't really read as many books as I wanted to. I was in a little bit of a little hibernation core. And now, as beauty is breaking out of the cracks, I feel like I'm gonna have much more success in spring. I've already started to read more, and I'm gonna start by talking about those books. The first book that I am currently reading, and something that I feel like is a great spring must read, Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. Now, I read Oh, William by Elizabeth Strout last year, and I was so not impressed. I said, okay, that's a little bit boring. Nothing really happened. I enjoyed it. I enjoy old people fiction. This is something that I've talked about here on the channel many times before. From my understanding, a lot of her books center around the same cast of characters. You have Oliver Kittredge and Lucy Barton being the two primary characters that she follows from book to book to book. Oh, William followed Lucy Barton and her husband, William. And this book actually takes both of those two characters, puts them together into this rural Maine town, and goes into the politics of the town, the gossip of the town, and the way that these people interact within one another's lives, and showing that there is a liveliness to adult age. And I think that a lot of people kind of write off like older people in fiction, or write them off as like these poor, pitiful characters. And I think that Elizabeth Strout does a great job of having this vitality exposed in these characters. They're still doing things that humans do, and they're not just these kind of gray scales in the background of life. They're very much alive, and I love this so far. It's just really great character building, and that is basically what I look for in a book. I'm really attracted to characters. I'm attracted to a great story. There's a murder kind of like subplot line happening, and there's just a ton of people to follow. Sometimes I do get a little bit lost, but it's great. I'm loving it. I'm about halfway through, and I plan on finishing this probably within the next day or two, so I will let you know. And then after that, I'm listening on audiobook, so I can hold up my phone now properly and incorporate it. I'm listening to my first Lynn Tillman. Lynn Tillman is an author that I wanted to get into for quite a while. Her book, Weird I'm just gonna say it, is something that has been super intriguing to me because of the title alone. I'll be totally transparent there, but I know that she's kind of like this alt writer in this world of kind of transgressive fiction. And my first book of hers is actually Mother Care, which is what I'm currently listening to right now. It's about 4 hours of listening, so I'm sure I'm gonna finish it sooner than later. This is much more of a memoir detailing her relationship with her ailing mother, her mother who is suffering from kind of this rare or misrepresented disease, and how she is now grappling with the effects of being a daughter, having to take care of somebody who always used to take care of her. Very interesting look into elderly care, and again, something that I think is kind of misrepresented in this world. I think people are so hyper-focused on youth and things like that, and I have a core love for older generations. My parents are significantly older than I am, and a lot of my life was spent being around older people, so I enjoy their company, and I think there's so much to learn from them. I'm enjoying this so far. I don't think it'll be like a favorite, but I'm happy to finally get into Tillman's work and explore that relationship between mother and daughter. And speaking of relationship, I have a beautiful relationship with my stunningly gorgeous husband, Oleg. And I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Paired, the app for helping our connection grow a lot stronger. Let's sit down for this one, why don't we? So what is the Paired app? It's a relationship app designed to help couples stay in love. It offers daily conversation prompts and expert-backed advice to strengthen communication and deepen understanding between two people. It makes the journey of staying in love much more enjoyable and fun. If you know me, you know that I'm a huge game person, and what I love about this app is that it has these quizzes and these little games that you start by answering, and then your partner follows up by answering their questions, and you kind of can see almost like a little fun battle to see who guessed what and who kind of really knows maybe the atmosphere of the relationship. I feel like I'm in like one of those 70s game shows. I mean, what is it, the Newlyweds? The Paired app is the ultimate relationship companion. There are lots of conversations that we might be foregoing because we don't think about them. But these prompts and these daily activities incorporate those words and those emotions into our daily life. And it's ultimately celebrating your relationship, telling you that you know so much about your partner, or you're going to investigate and find things about your partner through this app. And I love that. I can talk about my love of books forever, but I do need to also bring it back to who I really love, and that is my gorgeous Oleg. So if you would like to try the Paired app, you can click the link down in my bio to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Paired Premium so that you can also deepen your relationship and see and feel your companion in a different way. Thank you so much to Paired, the app, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's talk more about the books that we also love. I am on a really big library kick. I am so appreciative of the library and everything that they have to offer. So I've been getting a lot from the library. The first book that I'm actually still waiting on, but I understand it's super popular right now, is The Friend by Sigrid Nunez, and that is actually my Patreon book club pick. Okay, we know that. We love that. Now, I'm super excited to read this. From what I understand, this is a really fantastic book. Everybody that I know that's read it has really positive things to say about it. And to be completely frank, the reason that I chose this was because it is being made into a movie and they've been doing a lot of promo about it. And if you follow The Doggist, which I love, that's a channel that I'm a big fan of. I love dogs. They did a whole interview with Bill Murray and Naomi Watts, and they brought in the Great Dane, who is the central figure of the book. It's about a woman who takes on this Great Dane from a deceased friend, and I imagine it's all about kind of grieving and processing the passing of someone that you love while inheriting a huge part of them. The second book that I have from the library, and this is by an author I wasn't completely aware of, but I picked this up because I was scrolling through my Goodreads and somebody who's friends with me had either read this book or read the author's other book, which has the title I Look Divine, which, I'm sorry, how did I not come up with that name? That is gorgeous and perfect. And so it immediately captured me, and I said, who's writing this? And I discovered the author Christopher Coe, who was kind of prominent in the 80s and 90s, I believe. This is his book, Such Times. And when I picked this up, it was from storage in the library. So this has been sitting dormant for quite a bit. Nobody had really picked it up, and I'm happy to pick it up. This is going to be the next book that I read after Elizabeth Strout's book because I have to return this. But this is all about two men. Timothy and Jasper's 20-year relationship creates an inexpressibly moving portrait of people living on the razor's edge of desire, from the bathhouses of San Francisco to the waterfronts of New York and the streets of Paris, and offers a rapturous, bittersweet homage to those who now face death for having lived so exuberantly in such times. I think that this is going to be gorgeous. I can't wait to read it, and I'm excited to explore an author that I otherwise wasn't aware of. Really super excited. My motivation for spring reading is to enlighten myself, read books about maybe more character-driven, as I was talking about. That seems to be really successful for me with Strout's writing and the current book that I'm reading. I really want deep characters, and I feel like the best way to get into characters, especially for somebody who's auditioning like crazy lately, is to read modern plays. Any sort of play, really, but plays obviously are great ways to just dive into characters. And I picked this up. This was free in a little side-of-the-road book carrier in upstate New York. I found this, and this is just 6 great modern plays. You have Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie, Arthur Miller, All My Sons, Anton Chekhov, Three Sisters, Henrik Ibsen, The Master Builder, George Bernard Shaw, Mrs. Warren's Profession, and Sean O'Casey, Red Roses for Me. I think I'll be reading this throughout the months just to have something as a outlying piece to accompany some of the more kind of standard books that I'm reading. Again, I've been reading a lot of plays and reading monologues, so I feel like this is just a great side piece. That's the first word that came to mind. Side piece to have as I'm reading more literature, and just having this as something in the back of my mind to remind me to always keep getting refreshed on plays and you know, classic tales, I guess. And then I've talked about this before in another video, but I want to read Jhumpa Lahiri's book, Interpreter of Maladies. This is the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. This is all short stories. Again, I'm not crazy about short stories, but I've been having a lot of success with short stories, referencing Friday Black from this year I read, which I thought was great short stories. And anybody that's read this has had really positive things to say about it. And I think that this feels like spring to me. I don't know, maybe it could take place in winter, maybe it could take place in fall, but something about this feels very springy. And I feel like this is a great accompaniment for spring. Spring. I was gonna say spring the weather, but spring, I guess that's what we're going with. And then because I've wanted to read this book for a hot minute, I feel like it's time. I just also feel like the premise of this being about AI and that sort of world feels very pertinent. Clara and the Sun by Ishiguro. I read an Ishiguro already and it wasn't so touching to me. I read The Remains of the Day, which is a cherished and loved book, but for some reason I wasn't as enamored with that as I wanted to be. This, I think, might be the one that does it for me. About Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities, watches carefully the behavior of those who come in to browse and of those who pass in the street outside. Oh, she's in a store. She remains hopeful a customer will soon choose her, but when the possibility emerges that her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. So it's about robots and humans, which I love. I mean, it's also sun. I'm sorry. The suns, yes. Sun is spring, right? I want to read Ernest Hemingway, To Have and Have Not. I've actually never read this. I haven't read a Hemingway in quite a while. I feel like I want to get back into it. A novel of rum running between Cuba and Key West in the 30s, creating in the durable Harry Morgan one of the most remarkable of Hemingway's characters. This is my dad's, and at the time it was $3.95. $3.95. Oh, hello. We're down on the floor, my favorite place to sit. I love sitting on the floor so much. It's something I never graduated from. As a child, I just love sitting on the floor. Anyway, the last two books that I would love to read this spring are nonfiction pieces. Obviously, Lynn Tillman's book is a nonfiction read as well, but I'm currently reading that, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. These are books that I've had for a hot second, and I talked about wanting to read this one, and I want to talk about it again. The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. I think I'll get to it. I think I will. A classic, first published in 1903, it says on the back. So it's been around for quite a while. It has a lot of cultural significance, and I mentioned this in another video before, but I had the chance to go to Du Bois' hometown, which was Great Barrington, Massachusetts. It's interesting to see the respect that they put into kind of cherishing where he is from. There's plaques next to the bookstores talking about him, and I think that this will be a very insightful read, so I'm excited to get to that. And then the last book that I would like to read is a new book that I believe is coming out June 2025. This is from Mariner Books. They sent this to me, and this is called Culture Creep: Notes on the Pop Apocalypse. I just think this will be a really fun nonfiction to discover. In 7 stunning original essays, Alice Boland turns her gaze to the myriad ways femininity is remixed and reconstructed by the pop culture of the computer age. The unlikely, often insidious forces that drive our popular possessions are brilliantly cataloged, contextualized, and questioned in a kaleidoscopic style imitating the internet itself. I think that this is going to feel like one big YouTube video essay. I've had to stop watching those because they make me really depressed whenever I watch a video essay. I feel like none of them are super positive. And I know that they do deep dives, but I feel really negative after I watch a lot of those. So I'm hoping that being able to read it will help me to consume a lot of ideas and theorizing about things without it feeling super negative. I have to stay super positive lately because I've talked about that before in recent vlogs. So I want to stay positive, and I think this will be a really fun examination of those traits and things. So anyway, guys, that's my spring books. I think that they're quite an array, quite an arrangement of things. Let me know if you've read any of them. Let me know what you want to read this spring. And let me know if you find that you read more in spring, because I definitely do for some reason. I think it's just the fact that I can go outside and sit on a park bench and not have to worry about getting frostbite on my big toe, because that is a concern that I have in this life. Anyway, you guys are wonderful. You're fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next one. Spring is sprung. Spring has sprung.